I want to talk about Syd's role in history with regards to psychology and helping humanity. And on this call, there's quite a group of wonderful therapists and doctors and psychologists. So at some point after I kind of do some introduction here, I'm asking them to put their hands up and do a couple of things. One is to do their best from their perspective to talk about what the difference is between the spiritual-based psychology that exists now from the principles and the old, and to put Syd's role in history, so to speak, of why this whole movement is so, it's not just about the three principles community and so on, it's bigger than that, it's huge. Okay? And so I'll ask at some point for input from the various therapists that we have on here in terms of what they see and maybe some of their own personal experiences, because I think one of the most critical things that we do understand from the therapeutic point of view is that the therapists we know are speaking from experience and not from theory, personal experience and not from theory. So if you do put your hand up, talk about that too, about how you were affected in the beginning and what that means in terms of how you practice. So putting Syd into history, I'm going to break another rule that not really a rule, but I've never really read much during the schools before, but I'm actually going to quote myself. It's a piece that I wrote for an introduction, and I think it kind of sets the tone for this particular session. And it's capitalized Sydney Banks, 1931 to 2009. Throughout the ages, a small handful of human beings have experienced an enlightenment so profound. Just 1 second here. That's better. Have experienced an enlightenment so profound that their message has forever changed the course of history and the very experience of being human. Sydney Banks was such a man, an ordinary person, no different in any significant way from his contemporaries. He was graced beyond measure with an epiphany revealing the three principles of universal mind, universal consciousness, and universal thought. Principles capable of lifting humanity to a whole new level of understanding of the true nature of existence, of our own true nature, and of the mystical and limitless power of love. Each time I read this, I realize how amazing it is that this has been a part of my life. Somebody asked me not long ago, what is it about the three principal therapists, aside from the obvious that they see people as being healthy and operate from that understanding, looking at mental health? What is it about them? What occurred to me was this, and they can tell me whether I'm right or wrong. I'm easy with that. Is that the therapists that practice from this understanding, as I said earlier, do so for two reasons. One is they see the truth and the power of this understanding, but secondly, that they've had their own experience. That something has shifted in their lives, in their level of understanding. Right? And the way I would put it is this. When I told the story about seeing Jan and my son playing on the floor, what I've come to call that, or how I've come to see it, is I had a moment when I stopped the world. The world that's generated through all that history and thinking and past and belief systems and ideas about myself. I had a split second of stopping the world. Okay? And when you stop the world, you get to see what is instead of what isn't. See, I think the therapists who practice from this perspective are doing that. They're sharing spiritual facts, maybe in the guise of psychological facts, but they're spiritual facts with people such that those people have a moment when they stop their world. the world that they've been generating for maybe a lifetime, that's kept them in pain and kept them upset and kept them worried and kept them depressed. They stop that world because these therapists have that level of wisdom, right? That they share real facts about human beings such that that human being has that split second when they stop that world, right? And when they stop that world, they get to do two things. One is experience their health that's always been there. It comes to the surface in the absence of all that thinking. And two, they are able to look back at what they've been through and see it with a profoundly different level of understanding, right? And therefore slip into the ability to love and understand themselves and love and understand others. That's how I see these amazing therapists that are all around the world now and who practice from this understanding, is they know how to help somebody stop the world. And there's nothing more profound than that. And I would say this, there's nothing more simple than that. Nothing more simple. So that's my pitch. That's how I see all these wonderful therapists that I'm privileged to know in my life. And that Syd mentioned many times how grateful he was for, and how he was honored to know them, and how he was honored to share what he'd seen with them. And he often mentioned their courage, to take a chance and look away from what they've been taught, right? And listen to a welder about what might be. So I'll ask all these beautiful therapists that are on here, one of them, two of them, whoever could put up their hand and talk about their experience of encountering this, their work now, and Syd's place in history, in the history of the field, if you will. Oh no, don't all put your hands up once. I purposely didn't give anybody a heads up that I was going to do this because I really want just to come from the heart.
Hi, Chip.
Hi, Regine. Lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you too. For everybody else, I'm a psychologist, and I came to the three principles from a different door. Like when I was reading Sydney Banks before, I could see in the books that he was talking about the shift in thoughts. When we change our thoughts, we get a different feeling. And at first, to me, it was like, this is just cognitive behavior therapy. That's what we do in cognitive behavior therapy. And the premise is the way we feel, the way we think has an impact on the way we feel. If we want to feel differently, we change our thoughts. And I thought, well, I know that. But it didn't bring the relief or the peace, I should say, to clients. The way an understanding of our bigger mind, big consciousness, big C consciousness, has really on us. And so for me, without the broader picture of what and who we truly are, the change in thoughts didn't have the impact I was looking for. And when I started, at times I would talk about it, a bigger mind, but just my own thoughts, my own intent, rather, of allowing clients to stay in that relief they would experience in shifting a thought, and my own intent of their bigger mind to be present would make a difference. I could see their body relaxing, their faces relaxing. I could feel the difference. Their shift, I would feel their shift. Even now online, now that we do this online, I still see it and feel it. So, so the inclusion of the big mind, capital C consciousness, has made the difference in my practice. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It's like the wonderful Dr. Schufert has her hand up. There she is.
Still waking up. This is an early time for me.
All the way from Hawaii, right?
All the way from Hawaii. It's like, oh my gosh. Well, I don't know how much I can talk, but especially the last few days, what's just keeps coming to me. This is just about love, unconditional love, and when I was on my search, I could see the beauty in people. But it's in our work in psychology and whatever. It didn't seem to. It needed to come out in a way that I didn't see how. And so I was looking for something. The missing link is what I called it, and fortunately heard Syd and knew that I had found what I was looking for. And from that point on, it's been quite a journey. And but it was that shift from one footing into another. And recently, I've really seen this is. I'm not going to use the language, but this is a big deal. What Syd realized, what he shared, is a big deal. And the transformations and the changes, sometimes small, sometimes big, in people's lives. Over and over, what would come to my mind is we are what we seek. We really are. And I could see that beauty in people. I could see as I sat with them. And in our way, each of us, doing my best to draw it out, doing my best to point to shed light on what's true within. And this, to me, it just is, it's been a privilege, continues to be a privilege. I love sitting with people, looking within to what's true beyond our thinking. That gives us the ability to think and use it as we want to, whether we realize it or not, our free will. And recently I was talking with a father who was very concerned about his son, and he's kind of at his wit's end, which is what happens, right? We can get to our wit's end, not knowing what to do. And what came to me, and as we talked, was what you have to offer is unconditional love and the common sense to see what to do with what's going on. And that is a never-ending journey and resource. And so, I love that I feel like I'm always beginning, and learning, and feeling less and less in charge, in a sense, just letting what comes out, come out, and trusting that space within. Syd used to talk about the space within, and that really resonated with me early on. And I, in recent times, just really felt that at a deeper level, that space within before thought, before thought, which is the source of it all. And there's a certain resting in that I get to have and live from, and help my clients to do the same. And they're clients of all different ages and all different issues, right? And I feel like I'm having soul to soul conversations with people, because I know that they know what I'm pointing to, because it's who they are, what they are. And it's just seeing that truth in people, and just seeing with that unconditional love that any moment they could wake up to that or hear that within themselves. I always have hope, because I know in any moment that they could hear within themselves something that would change their view of life and their ability to be happy and to enjoy life. And I think that's, I got the good fortune of being able to live that kind of life, and for quite a few years have a husband who loved enjoying life. So knowing that it came from within, knowing that it comes from within, and that that will always be true. It will keep unfolding, and we'll always be who and what we really are, and we can relax with that. We can relax with that. So it's a big deal. It is a big deal for the field of psychology, psychiatry, any of helping profession. What Syd realized, what we've all gotten a glimpse of in whatever way we have, is a big deal. So I won't continue, but thank you so much. The school has been such a touchstone and such a valuable resource for us all.
Thank you, Rita. Thanks. That was lovely.